Coffee and Chaos. I'm Melina, your host. Trina.
Talofa.
I love your hair.
Thank you.
I just want to bouncy. It's so
Just kidding. Somebody asked me today if this was all my hair.
Were you insulted or were you
No.
did you feel like it was a compliment?
Yeah.
I think it's a compliment.
She was probably proud.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, that ain't a woman's hair.
I agree.
I did not
Really?
know a lot of women wear a lot and there's nothing wrong with it.
No. There's nothing
Especially
wrong
as we get older, mine's thinning. Mine's not what it was, when I was younger. But I did not realize how many women wear extensions. So the fact that that's all you, boo-boo, that's all your...
I won't complain.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
When you wash your hair, does some of your hair fall out?
All the time. I don't know how I have any.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I won't complain because...
So I have a question. Your hair's naturally that curly.
Yeah.
So when you come in and straighten, that's what Melissa
blowout.
does.
Yes, I go to get a blowout from Onyx Studio.
And shout out.
With my lovely niece, Melissa.
Well, she does an amazing job. But because she's done my niece who has hair like that. And she's done an amazing job. But how long does it take her?
Let's see if I'm...
Don't lie.
There. Well, if I'm just getting a blowout, I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
And she styles, maybe 3 or 4 hours.
That's a whole lot of hair. That's the same thing with my niece. That's what I was asking. Yeah. Well, Solomon, how are you before we go on our special guest?
I am great.
Have a good week.
Thank you for Chick-fil-A. I had a long day. It was back to back podcast today.
Oh, I got to keep you fed when you got to deal with our crazy ass.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, the fact that we're finally here. First, I'm going to introduce you, and then we'll talk about it. Today we have David Lariva. How are you, Mr. Lariva?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Finally here.
I know. It took what? How many weeks did it take?
So this was our third time, and we finally succeeded.
We got here safe.
Safe. So I'll let Trina tell the second time. I'm going to tell the first time. So you were scheduled to come. We were scheduled to come August 25th. Was it Monday? Was it a Monday?
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Monday.
I think it was.
And actually, I was sitting right behind you and everybody on August 24th when we got the phone call that my grandma passed.
That's true. Yep.
So I rushed home, and you were just awesome. Don't worry about it. When you're ready, we'll do the episode. So then we scheduled it for Friday a week ago. Dang, I don't remember the date.
September 5th, right?
September 5th?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
today's our anniversary.
Today's our what? Give me 5.
All right.
We're alive.
That is no. So I'm gonna let you, because if I say it, I think I'll laugh too much, and it's not a funny thing.
Well, I mean, we're thankful to be alive, and we survived a car accident on the way here.
How many cars?
Oof, at least 5. Right?
Technically, it was 5, but the guy that I hit didn't stay. He left.
He left.
But he still counts. So don't.
He does
Don't
count.
cut yourself short.
Yeah.
Well, and there was another car in front of him, but she left.
No,
too.
he didn't hit that car though, did he?
Yeah, the nurse.
He hit the nurse.
Yeah, but she said everything was fine. Nothing was wrong with her.
So
car.
then it's technically 1, 2, 3,
6.
4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
But
So
also too, I think it's important where the location.
Yeah.
of
So
the
do you want it? Yeah.
We're at the top of the Vincent Thomas Bridge.
Yep.
Oh,
The peak of
really?
San Pedro.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, you guys blocked the whole bridge?
Yes.
No,
yes.
there's 2 lanes,
That's
so there
true.
was another lane.
Well, all I'm going to
Oh.
say is a trucker hit a car that hit a car that hit me. I hit a car, which I did not know till this very second, hit that car. And I couldn't get my car in gear because apparently I don't work well under pressure, okay?
I don't think any of us.
So
do.
I'm like, it won't go out. I can't do it. Well, I didn't know my car had a second gear and it had jumped into second gear.
Oh.
I have an automatic, so I didn't know it was in second gear. So as I'm trying to fix it, the trucker, the big rig trucker that started all this, jumps out and he's like, "You're fine. Everyone's fine." I've never heard Trina yell at somebody. I've never
wasn't
heard Trina
yelling.
upset. She jumps out and I'm like, "She's gonna get hit." And she jumps out. She's like, "Go, you go. Don't talk to us." He's like, and he's trying to tell us to go to get off the bridge. And I think he's also trying to tell the people in front of us, "You're fine, leave," because he doesn't want that also, And Trina was so mad. I was like,
I wasn't mad. I think it was just adrenaline.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he wasn't being kind about it. He didn't ask us, are you okay? He just said, drive down there, meet me down there, go.
Like, I do this all the time. I know the routine.
Pretty much. I was not mad. I think it was just my adrenaline. And I got into protective mode because I feel like he was not being kind about it. Like, he was the only male. No, he wasn't the only male, but he was the male.
But the other guy was a younger kid.
Yeah.
And also too, like, and not only you in the car, like your daughter was in the car.
Yeah.
Too, so.
And she was crying. And I just felt like he wasn't helping the situation.
Yeah.
And he didn't even ask her if she was okay.
Well,
He
the thing
came up
that
to her window.
broke my heart was my trunk was like my car's totaled, right? It's but her daughter Selena was in the back. And so what happened is we're coming up the bridge, and at the top of the bridge, everyone just starts slamming on their brakes. So I stopped. I didn't hit anybody at that time. And there was enough space between us. I wasn't worried. And Selena in the back goes, "Oh my God, I wonder what's happening. What is all this?" And then we got hit. And I was like, well, that's what that was. Well, her coffee went everywhere. And you hear in her sweet little innocent voice, Alina, I'm so sorry. I spilled my coffee everywhere. And I was like, girl, we do not care.
Ain't nobody care about that coffee.
Yeah, but I think her natural reaction, and I think her heart, her being so like nervous and, getting hit, I felt horrible. Like instantly I was like, oh my God, was this my fault? Which it wasn't, but you start going through all these things. I can't get my car out of gear. She jumped out of the car. Then she jumped out of the car. And I was just like, like my reflexes did not kick in.
And you still have people driving by, like honking at you, like, hey, move yourself.
Yes. And then what I didn't know, and I don't know if it was your Apple Watch or if it was the Apple phone, as soon as it happened, it starts alerting everybody in your favorites that you've been detected in a car accident.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So my son in Vegas, my daughter was in Colorado. They're freaking out. My nephew who was here in San Pedro was like, they're all texting each other like, did you get that? Did you get, Mom's not answering. What's going on? Yeah, so it alerted everybody. If they're in your favorites in the contacts, then they tell everybody.
Yeah. If you have an iPhone and there's like an asterisk, the red asterisk, the emergency contact, it like alerts them.
Oh, wow.
But the little old phone went off, but her airbags didn't go off.
No. But my
everybody else's airbags went off.
Yeah.
Anyways, and Mr. Lariva
I was just pulling on.
showed up.
I was just there.
So you pull up, and can we talk about the CHP officer? And this is not part of the podcast. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to hurry up and get through this. The CHP officer, young girl, she kind of, at first, we thought she was like a bully. She jumps out and she's like, move your car. And I was like, my car won't get out of there.
Yeah.
And she's like, she helps the guy behind us, right? And then you pull up. She's like, if you know him, tell him to leave. I don't need him. And I was like, I'm not.
We were like, we do know him and we don't want him to leave.
So she's like, get out, let me get in. And I was like, she's like, I could do it. And I was like, oh. Then I was offended, right? And I was like, she ain't gonna get it. And she's like, okay, your car's drivable. I was like, oh.
She got in and did whatever she did. She got in everybody's car and like, yeah.
Well, in your defense, it did take her at least 2 or 3 times to shift that.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
So.
But at first we were like, ooh, like she's not being sensitive to us. Like we're all her eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So then we get down to the bottom and she doesn't let us talk to the trucker, which I thought was really good. She let us, me and the 2 people that hit behind us, right? So we're all kind of talking. We're all there. She gets our IDs. She's doing everything. And then later when we looked back, she handled it amazing.
Yeah. She was great under pressure.
Yeah. She made sure we were safe. We were out of the way because we were stopping traffic. She made sure everybody was fine. She went through it all. She got everybody's. Afterwards I was like, I want to call and tell them like, she did a phenomenal job, even though she didn't care about my feelings in the beginning.
She's very mission oriented.
She got it done.
That's exactly. And she was doing it by herself.
Yeah. And like you said, there's 5 cars there, right? So she's managing 5 personalities and 5 scared.
And then another cop showed up. He was a guy, but he kind of was like,
I don't know
what can I do? What can I do? And he did great. Don't get me wrong. But she was like, do this, get that, get that. And I was like, you go, little mama. You tell him what to do.
Yeah, she had to be like not even 25.
No, she was young. And then about 4 days later, I text my friend Monique and I was like, hey, just letting you know, I got into a car accident. I totaled my car and I send her a picture of my car. She sends me a picture. She goes, oh my God, that was you. Of us all down now at the bottom of the bridge and you see all the cars. And I said, girl, I'm in that picture. She's like, I didn't know it was you. I was going to be late for work. And so I took a picture to show the boss in case I got in
And I was
trouble.
cussing you out along the way.
A lot of people were not happy because it was at exactly
It was rush hour.
5:20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
And it was a Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was late to their date.
Exactly.
So I left work, drove over the bridge into Pedro to pick her up, and we're coming back over the bridge again right away to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So today I had to leave work and I'm going over the bridge and I get her and we're going back over. I was like, I'm driving so slow that my whole life, and I think you two will agree, we get on that bridge and we go. No second things. And I see people driving all slow and I'm like, oh, get out of my way. It's just a damn bridge. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. Now I'm like, oh, I see why these people drive this slow over the bridge.
We got on the bridge and she's like, oh no, they're stopped. I'm like,
Do you know the speed limit there? Because I noticed it the other day.
No.
35?
40?
It's 45.
Give me 5. Because the cop asked me, how fast do you think you were going? And I was like, 40.
You weren't going fast though.
When I slammed on my brakes the first time, I think I was going 40, 45.
Well, next time you're on the bridge, don't look down, but you could see where you, when you were like, kind of like.
Yeah.
You left your mark on the bridge.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, my car is gone. Our backs are messed up. We didn't get to do the episode. We had to reschedule. And you've been so patient.
Thank you.
But then we kind of thought, are you the cause of everything?
And I might be. And as I mentioned, this is either going to be the greatest podcast episode ever or the absolute worst. So it's not going to be anywhere in between.
So third time's the charm.
Yeah.
And we brought you on. And so I'm going to tell Trina, because you kind of are the one that asked me or said to me, you should ask him to come on.
Well, I met David at the Rams game.
The Rams games, yep.
So, and I didn't know that he watched the episode. I didn't even know you watched the podcast. But then I think you went to the game.
I went to the game.
Yeah, and then he didn't realize that it was you.
At first, then
yeah.
it took me a while to kind of register.
Yeah, and then we had talked about it, and I was like, he should be on the podcast.
Well, I've commented.
Yeah, I knew you watched the
Yeah.
podcast. It's very, very much so.
Yeah, because you guys have had some good episodes that bring up things where I put myself in the questions that you ask, and sometimes I feel like, hey, there's some gaps here, and so I want to.
Yeah.
I shared my ideas with you sometimes.
And I love that you did, but I'll be honest, there's times where so as introducing you, Mr. Lariva, you grew up in San Pedro. You're about my brother's age. Your 2 younger brothers I kind of grew up with, and I'm friends with them, so we all know each other. You do not work on the docks. You have
not work on the
you
docks.
have a real job. Can you first tell me about that before we get into it? It's
Well,
so intriguing.
Tell us about your real job.
Yeah.
I do have a job. It's
mean,
as real
you
as
have
everyone else's.
You have a brain.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But I work at JPL, the Jet Propulsion Lab, and NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, where I'm a safety engineer. And I was hired there as the explosive safety officer. So I deal with a lot of explosive safety, and pretty much if it burns and blows up, I kind of handle that. And I manage construction safety as well.
So I'm a vessel planner at work, and we deal with DGs, dangerous cargoes, explosive. I have to plan it where it goes on the ship. But if you were to ask me what a class 8 was or a class 3 or anything, I'm like, hold on, I got to get my book. Even though I work with him all the time, so you have to know all that stuff.
Yeah, in the military, I was an explosive ordnance disposal technician, so I defused bombs and did demolition. So that was my job. And so
Wait, real bombs?
Yeah, I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan a couple of times and diffused IEDs. That was my job.
Wait, hold on. Again, this is wait, I didn't know this. So please enlighten me.
Hey, before we start though, I just got one thing, and I just got to show these because this is something.
You gonna show us the bomb?
No.
Oh,
Dude, that is you. I don't know if anybody's ever.
Oh. Are you gonna do that? We gotta do that.
I know every episode.
Yeah. So back to bombs.
Yeah.
Question. Because this is that's. I shouldn't say it's not cool. I think it's it's cool that you did it. I would never want to do it. But so you actually, what if the bomb exploded? You're gone.
Then I would not exist anymore.
But that's why he's where he's at now, because he's good at it.
Yeah, I was good at it, and a lot of people, the guys who I worked with, and guys and girls actually who I worked with, we were good.
So all that protective stuff wouldn't save you?
It would save you in certain conditions. There's
okay.
there's limitations to the protection that you'd wear.
Right.
But obviously, if you're close enough and the bomb's big enough, there's not much going to save you.
Yeah.
You know, it might keep you in a nice little package so you can be delivered to your family.
So you can be buried.
But
So you work well under pressure.
I think I actually do pretty good. It's funny. The podcast is called Coffee and Chaos, and I say I thrive in chaos. That's what I tell people.
So I thought I did too till that accident.
And look, there's a bomb.
Yeah, exactly, there's an explosion. But,
so I did not know that about you. That is so awesome.
well, it was that background and that experience that allowed me to get hired at JPL because it just so happens that when I decided to retire, that JPL was looking for an explosive safety officer, and so I just transitioned like right away.
Well, thank you for your service.
No, thank you.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
very
it.
much. Do you miss it ever?
I miss the camaraderie. You know, I miss the camaraderie and being around the fellas and just the excitement sometimes.
Yeah.
Too. You know, there's it's kind of a twisted little excitement, but I don't miss being away from my family. I don't miss just the grind. And I think the time that I did retire, like it was my time. Even though I reluctantly retired, it was when I look back, it was my time because I was getting burned out. Just going, like I deployed to Afghanistan twice, Iraq twice, and it's just that was the rotation. You just like had maybe 6-8 months off, and you were gone, and then you were gone for another 6-8 months, and so it was just time.
Time. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So you're a Pedro boy. So Trina's a Pedro girl. Well, we joke with her, but she's a Pedro girl. I'm a Pedro girl. So we all knew about each other. So you would inbox and I get a lot of feedback, and some of it's not negative, but it is a lot of, because they're my friends, right? So they're not saying like you suck or anything like that, but like, oh, well, that girl's wrong about this or that. It's the guys, they take offense to things, and so they argue, and then we kind of go back and forth, right? Or guys will come on and do it. When you came on, you would say things and you would stump me. So I'd be like, I never like.
You made her think.
Yeah. So and I loved that, right? So you'd give me your feedback. So Trina said, like, ask him. And I was like, oh, I don't think he would come on. I don't think he'd want to. I think he just likes to say, fix it. Like a teacher who grades your report.
Yeah.
Red marker. Check.
That's the engineer in you.
Try again next time.
Yes, like you messed up there, but we'll let that one
your
pass.
your kids are gonna.
But, I mean, it wasn't that. It was like I wanted to like just share my thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really appreciated some of the episodes that they were there where it made me think as well too, and it made me think of situations that I was in, and the way you guys did it, it was always funny with a lot of humor and in the unique way.
I have to do
things
with
there.
humor because I feel I said it to Solomon earlier, and I said it to somebody else within the last week of my grandma passing. If we sat down and thought about all the things wrong in our lives or all the speed bumps that we went over, we would just cry all the time. And
Absolutely.
I can't anymore. I did that enough as a kid, right? I just can't. So I have to find humor in it, because if we stopped laughing, we would just all be crying.
No, I agree with that.
So.
I do think you have to look back at yourself and I know everyone that's ever been on this podcast has ever looked back and reflected and seen just their own decisions and sit there and be like, who was that person? You know?
Yeah.
Who was? I think that's like the overall theme here is like, hey, who was that person?
Yeah.
And I think that's fun to go back and do that and sit there and be like, yeah, that's not me anymore, but this is a nice place to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that people are comfortable. They come on, they talk, and they want to come back. So a lot of people will hit me with feedback, and I'll say, hey, and I'm genuine, like, come on, like, share it. Like, just because we don't agree with what you, like, we want to hear different sides. And I try my hardest to make everybody feel welcomed and not want to come back. And usually everybody wants to come back.
Mhm.
But people will inbox me, oh no, I don't want to go on. I don't want to. I'm like, well, I can't go up there and give your opinion so when I asked you and you're like, let's do this, I was like, oh, well, you got to pick the topic.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
For sure. She was like, what should we talk about? I'm like, ask David.
I didn't know.
And then, well, you sent like
A
you
list,
sent-
and it was
Yes.
good.
Yeah, well,
Because we used one of them last week.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did.
I sat there and I said, hey, that's mine.
He's like, do I get credits for that?
Yeah,
I don't. So let's get into today's, because it's gonna go. Even though we're like 20 minutes in,
It's all good.
it is. And please correct me if I'm wrong. The silent divorce.
Yeah, the silent divorce.
And
Elaborate.
clarify. Yeah.
So the silent divorce, it's, we all know what a divorce is, right? When a couple splits up. Well, that kind of happens with non-romantic friendships with your regular friends. And so
Even with family members.
with family members and anybody, it could be even coworkers too,
Yeah.
when you think about it. And
That's
so,
the hardest, I
yeah.
think.
And you know, the reason why I thought that was a good topic, because obviously I reflect on my own life as someone who is 52 years old, and, you know, coming back to San Pedro, I don't have the same friends that I did when growing up. I have a few. And being in the military for a lot of my adult life, you know, my friends are either out of state or they passed away,
Oh.
you know, and so getting back to a place where you have community is tough.
Yeah.
And so all that made me think of, hey, sometimes you walk by people and you're just like, hey, I used to know that guy.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, we don't talk anymore. You know,
Oh,
not
yeah,
necessarily to
yeah.
me, but like I
But just
imagine that
whatever the
happens,
reason
and
is, yeah.
especially in a place like San Pedro, where, you know, if you graduate high school and you end up working on the docks, you still see a lot of the same people.
But even there, you still have like the silent divorce.
Exactly.
Even people that I casualed with, we got in as IDs, and then we got promoted to A books. They went days, they went nights, they did this, they did that. And I run into them now, and I never thought of it the way you said it. Is I look back now and I'm like, oh, those were all silent divorces. You just kind of got further and further away from each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes I tried or I wanted to stay in contact with that certain person because we had such a good vibe. But if one's days and one nights, it just doesn't work out, you know.
And that's and now, does it not work out, or is it just someone just not giving effort?
Yeah, because I feel like if you make time for what you want to make time for. And I feel like too, like in regards to like you know, Pedro's so small, right? And I sometimes say to myself, like, I never see so and so, but I feel like it's just not meant for me to see that person. It's not a like, and like any one specific person, like I don't see a lot of people. But there's social media, right? But
Yeah.
then I also just don't want to see these people.
She's like, I'm
I'm
glad
like-
for the silent divorce.
Like,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
some of those, I mean,
mute.
I mentioned effort because, you know, obviously there's just growth, right? You get married, like you said, you have different jobs,
yeah.
you have different
kids now.
you have kids, yeah, you have different obligations. So I think that's a natural progression of sorts. But
Right.
there are some
Right.
where you sit there and you make a conscious decision,
Mhm.
like I'm not going to say, like I'm not going to message them, or they message me back. I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm just not.
Yeah,
gonna
I feel
respond.
like I'm going through. Remember, I told you guys before the show, I'm going through a silent divorce right now, and it is somewhat breaking my heart. But I also know that I felt like I put so much into the relationship the friendship, and I've realized now, all these years later, I was filling the cup, and the cup wasn't being filled.
Yep.
So even though I'm the one kind of distancing, doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that I don't want to pick up the phone or I don't want to text. And right now I need that person, you know, because what I'm going through, but that person chooses not to be around. It is a silent divorce. That's why when you said that, I was like, oh, I know what that feels like.
But that's a good point that you bring up. Like, you know, if I'm putting forth the effort and then you feel like you're not getting the same thing in return, I think you almost have an obligation to yourself to
Mhm.
say, well, you know, I can't continue at this pace and do this, because then you're teaching that person, hey, this is how this relationship's going to be.
Mhm.
And that's what I did for over 20 years. And in the words of my nephew, my nephew BJ, he said, you were her friend. She wasn't your friend.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. And I feel like it's safe to say we're in the same age group. I feel like you get to a certain point where you shouldn't wait till you're in your 50s to realize, like, it shouldn't be where like I'm just now realizing at this age that, you know, you're just on a different level. You're
Level,
more
yeah.
mature. Your priorities are different.
but I think that's what took for me to see the change and the difference, because I felt like we did a lot of dumb things. We're young, we're kids, right? And even as went through life, we'd still make a bump here or there. But now we're at the point like, okay, we're seasoned, we're 50 something. Like we know better. We know left is left, right is right. Wait, right is right, left is left.
So
Well,
do this. This
Do
is
we
an
really
L.
know?
This is an L. So if you ever forget, just go L left.
wow. Look, Selena, you're not the only one that doesn't know your left from your right.
I did it on the last episode, but I looked at my hands. I was like, okay, did it right. So, I mean, we know right from wrong, right? And
That's a better
Not
analogy,
everybody
yeah,
does.
that's it. Well, and that's my point is I realized that this person was still doing things that I was just like, so as I was starting to let go, I almost felt like I'm leaving. Come get me. I'm leaving. And
Yeah,
that
but
person-
we shouldn't have to.
And
be
that person
shouting
was like,
those
bye,
things
bitch,
out.
go.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to make announcements like that. Like somebody should be reciprocating your love and your genuineness. And like from the outside looking in, I just feel like you guys were both, even if you're, going your own separate ways, it doesn't mean that you won't ever, you're not going to give this person the cold shoulder.
Oh, never.
Because that's just not who you are.
But it is the silent divorce, because it's even in an actual divorce, right? When a couple leaves, there's always a sad one and always the one that's like
ready to go.
And I feel like I'm the sad one and that person's zoom.
Well, and I also think like when we talk about divorce, right? You just don't divorce anybody. You divorce someone that you married. So these aren't like casual friends, because I know that obviously I have friends, colleagues, whoever, but like those relationships are like in tiers, right? So you have people like I have friends that I go and do things with, but I know they're surface level relationships. I know there's only certain people that I let in that, if I didn't have that relationship anymore, it would be a loss. Mm-hmm. Other ones are kind of like,
Bye.
That's not a divorce. That's just that was like a one night stand relationship.
It was never meant to be.
But it wasn't a divorce. You know?
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a spring fling or whatever you want to call it.
But guys have those like
I just did not know guys.
We didn't know that guys, women, we go through that. We know that, right? We're naturally the quote unquote emotional ones, right? But it always
called drama.
It's chaos, but okay. So I feel like we said earlier, we feel like guys. Oh yeah, I just don't talk to him. No, we're cool. We just don't talk. He does his thing. But the fact that guys do care that damn, like we don't talk anymore. Like it's again, guys push everything in. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that you guys also went through a silent divorce.
Well, I think you do have most men have like someone who they could share those things with, and typically it's someone who you've experienced similar things with. And in my experience, like I've had like my buddies who I served with, obviously I know like when people say I'll take a bullet for you, I know I've had guys that we've put our lives on the line for each other. Mm-hmm. And we've been very open about the things that we've been through, especially when you come back home and just the stuff you deal with afterwards. And we're at a level of the relationship where we could sit there and tell each other that we love each other and we're good. However, if that trust and that bond gets compromised somehow by whatever, like you just anyway you lose trust, then it's gonna be that way. It might be a messy divorce, it won't be a silent one. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, like in a case that I experience, sometimes is like you just separate in the sense that I live in California now. I have friends in Florida. I have friends in Washington. Like I just don't talk to them anymore, and
obviously you miss them, right?
Yeah, you miss them just because it's hard to establish similar bonds.
I was going to say, you relate to them more than you do your friends here because of what you went through?
I think that's an extra level, mm-hmm. Because again, when you're in some very serious situations and where you put your life on the line for that, and it's not cliche, it's like real life.
Did you ever think there was a moment you weren't going to come back?
There's always intense moments where you sit there and you're like, oh shit, So you just kind of default to training and move through because really? you can't think, you just got to act.
See that cop? She's a thinker. Yeah. She would have been. She's not a thinker. She would have been good. She would have been like boom, boom, boom.
But how old were you when you went to the military?
I was 19. I graduated and then I pretty much screwed around for like 6-8 months and then said, you know what? I need to get out of here.
What military did you go into? I'm
Air
sorry.
Force.
I don't think we asked. Okay.
Yep. I was in the Air Force. Actually, I remember I was 18 years old and I was already graduated and I went to a high school party, and I remember seeing some guy there who was like 24 and I'm just going, I can't be that guy. I got to get out of here.
24-year-old at a high school party?
And I'm like, I'm out of here. I got to go.
There's a lot of that.
We're glad you had that aha moment.
Yeah, I did. Me too. So, but yeah, as far as just like those friendships and guys, like I think it becomes more of a trust thing, as far as just like you got my back, I got yours. Like we can sit there and have those serious conversations. Maybe they don't get as emotional as women do sometimes, but I think the trust thing is extremely important. And if that gets lost, then you can walk away from someone. You just know that, hey, you weren't here for me.
Yeah.
And so if you're not there for me, like I'm not going to call you and ask you again. I know I don't do that. Yeah. If you fail me in that respect, then I'm not going to ask a second time.
Damn.
Do you think also because you're a young father now, you think of like the beautiful experiences that you're having now that you're not able to share with the friends that you did have because you don't have those friendships anymore.
I don't
Like
think
you want to
that,
be able to share that with
no,
your
I
friends?
don't think that impacts my friendships, because actually a lot of my friends, obviously their fathers and their kids are older, and they're happy for me. And actually a lot of people have reached out and are happy now that I have 2 children,
Yeah.
you know, and I had them at 49 and 52. So
I didn't say that. I
Yeah.
said young
Yeah.
father.
no,
Yeah,
I know, but
Like-
I think that's special to me,
Yeah.
you know, because I know that I'm a better father than I would have been at 22,
Yeah.
or 32, or even 42.
Mhm.
You know, I'm that. So, and then my friends are happy for that. And as a matter of fact, I think that I have friends that reach out a little more as a result of
Mm.
that. So I think it's actually helped me.
They're like, do you need help, old
Yeah,
man? You need
exact-
to come
yeah.
over and
Well, yeah, after they call me crazy and say,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what's wrong going? But
They're like, you've changed.
yeah. Well, you know, I've had people at work say, you know, I like this version of you better, which makes me feel good. So
Do
Did
you
you-
like this version? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You like this version of you?
I do like being a dad. You know, it's
You're in your dad era,
I am. You
and
know,
you're a girl dad.
I am a girl dad. I'm very proud of that too. You know,
That's awesome.
I love being a girl dad.
yeah, it's a special thing that I think that unless when you experience it, you're just going like, wow. Like
I think that's because you're men.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so too.
but he also has an up and coming little football player come in
I do.
for the Rams.
But to your point, yeah, to your point, I think that when it comes to my son, like I already have a different mentality for my son because I know that he's going to face different things in life. So I
Yeah.
can't raise him the same way that I raised my daughter. So I already have that in mind. You know,
I didn't know you before, but just based off some of our conversations, and then I guess seeing you and your family at the games and stuff, I like this dad era you got
He
going on.
was, from what I remember, new. Was like, you know, typical Pedro guy, right? All that-
typical Pedro
No,
guy.
But then you like left, and then when you came back, you know the right, the whispers, everybody's talking. I was always like, I didn't know because I'm friends with your 2 younger brothers, and we talked about all that, right?
Yeah.
You just seem so like different. So it was almost like nerve wracking. Like I wasn't going to talk to you or ever like anything. I was
Because
like,
you thought he was supposed to be like his brothers.
no, because I feel like he's very like put together and responsible.
But he
And-
went to the
if
military.
only you knew.
Yeah, well,
If only
then, and
you
then
knew.
his brothers, like I see his brothers, and I'm like, Dan, Rob, what up, homie? Like, you know,
Oh,
and then
you were
him, and it's like,
militant.
hello, sir, how are you?
No, I mean, you know, I've had my moments, and I still do, of where you know I'm nothing put together like that. But and I mean, sometimes they're voluntary moments when I do that. But it's you know, I feel I think that experience of just leaving gives you a different perspective of
Mhm.
San Pedro. I think when you this is you know totally my opinion, but when you live here, sometimes you don't see how beautiful it is, and
Oh,
it takes you leaving and coming back and going, wow, this place is really cool,
Yeah.
and then you kind of see it in a different way.
And so, are you staying? Gonna raise your kids in it?
Yeah, I've owned a home here, and I've been here for 7 years, and I have no intent of leaving. So
No.
So
even
wait,
though my
you-
commute is long,
Yeah, I was gonna say you drove to Pasadena every day then.
yeah, I do. And it's a long drive, but you know when I think about it, it's long because I was able to work from home for a few years, and it made me realize how much time I'm driving.
Yeah.
You know, but before I did that all the time, and I didn't seem to have a problem with it. I just accepted the fact that you're in Southern California and you're going to drive an hour
Yeah.
to a job. You know, that just seems to kind of be par for the course.
Yeah.
Unless you're a longshoreman, you can just cruise over the bridge.
Zoom,
know.
crash.
I know.
But now when you're, I'm sure that's like your sesh when you're in your car driving, like you have a lot to think about, and then when you're going back home, you have your family to look forward to.
You're right, and it does give me time to decompress. You
Mhm.
know, I do look forward to my roughly hour drive because I do have this little timing in my head of like I pick up my coffee, I know exactly when it's the perfect temperature to drink.
See, that's
then-
why I said hello, sir.
That's the engineering here.
Yes.
No, but that wasn't engineer because I didn't equate that. I burned my tongue about 5 different times on the 110.
You know, you could ask
and
for
then
a
I'm like,
specific
oh,
temperature.
I'm on Slauson now. Now I could drink my coffee. I could.
You know, you could ask for a specific temperature.
No, I want it scalding hot.
Yeah, I love my coffee hot. If I'm drinking hot coffee, it has to be hot. I agree.
Because if my coffee is watered down or
You guys
it's
like to get burned by the fire.
Yeah,
well, you know that fire is the perfect temperature within this little window.
When you get to Slauson.
Yeah, when I get to Slauson. You should try it sometime. Just try to Slauson with a hot cup of coffee.
okay.
It'll be perfect.
Do you ever look at yourself, and you do have two beautiful little babies, right? But you are seasoned, in the words of Trina. Do you ever look at yourself and think like you're going to lose friends that you even have now because they don't have kids or their kids are older and they don't have the same things in common with you? So
I do think that the relationship adjusts. You know, I like to think that the friends that I have that are my dear friends, like those friendships will last because they've lasted since I was a child. And I do think that if the relationship is worth it, then the friendship adjusts just as well. And so I do think, like, I've had friendships like before I did have kids. Like, of course, I'd go out with my friends and they'd call me up and I'd just go and I had all the free time to do it. But now I don't. And so, yes, of course, those relationships adjust. But those friendships maintain because they have that value. They see the value that I have in my life now, and they're okay with that. And they're happy for me.
yeah.
And so those relationships maintain. It's the people I think that, and no one in specific, I'm speaking in general terms, but I think just maybe someone who just, maybe they're not happy with themselves sometimes, or they feel like, hey, or maybe they're a little selfish and they say, well, you don't have time for me anymore because you have a family. So, you know, I don't want to,
I went through that with my grandma. Like, I thought about it this whole week since this was our topic. I didn't realize some friendships, I did go through a silent divorce, and I did not even realize that. I just don't talk to them. And it's because grandma moved in and I was home a lot. But I had friends that said, we'll come over, we'll drop something off. Trina would say, like, Vivian, like, there's so many I can't even mention of my girlfriends that were so awesome. Like, we'll bring food, we'll bring, you know, Regina, Tracy, Lisa, all my friends. Friday night, we'll watch a movie with you. You know, she'd bring over coffee, bagels, whatever. But there was other friends who, and not that there's nothing wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong.
It just didn't fit their life. And I was home with grandma. And so our friendships just went, you know, astray.
And I think that's a good point that you bring up, is that, like, it's totally okay, you know, but also it begs a question. I thought about a couple questions like with this, is that, do you think like friendships are like seasonal? Like, do they have an expiration date?
Oh,
I think so now. I think people come in your lives for different reasons at different moments that you need. And during my grandma era, we got closer. And other people, we've got further, you know. So but I don't feel like this is seasonal.
No.
Well, it never feels seasonal. It's just like, we're never going to get divorced either, honey.
no, but I think, no,
Smart ass.
no, but to piggyback off of it not being seasonal.
Are you
God
going to
willing-
leave me? Is this seasonal?
Here's the thing.
That wasn't a no, by the way.
I know. I wasn't like, she
I'm not
didn't
going
answer the
anywhere.
question.
I'm not
She
going
evaded
anywhere.
the answer.
No, I'm not going anywhere. You and Anjanette are stuck with me. I feel like how you mentioned earlier, where, you know, the silent divorce and how the other person might, you know, they're not receptive, or you just do things differently. And I've learned in a friendship that even though I didn't know at the time that it was going to we were going to have a silent divorce, because that's exactly what it was. But I think there was a point of where I felt like I don't ever bring any of my I don't bring my friends around my family. But I don't have a lot of friends because I have my family.
Yeah.
So growing up, we had a big family. I'm big on like how supportive my family was. So I only had a few friends, and then the friends that I did have growing up, they became my cousin's girlfriends, or they had kids together. Like they are my family. So when I went through a silent divorce, I was like devastated. I was hurt, like, because it wasn't like you did this, can you fix it? Or you made me feel this way, so now I don't want to be your friend. I would have appreciated that more than anything. But that's also a more mature thing to do. And it's a more like, now I feel like I'm just at an age and a time in my life where it's not so much that I won't bring people around or I won't establish new friendships. I don't have time to build rapport with people like that to where I'm going to have this. I'm not going to live forever. So the people that are in my life now, that's it. Like those
I
are the
think
people
originally
in my life.
our life, now that I think about it, our friendship was seasonal because our kids were very close in elementary school, junior high, high school, which made us, we were kind of seasonal. And then we kind of dropped off and then we came back. But now I feel like that's.
Well, no, she said I was being mean to her.
Well,
She
that's
said I was
a
being
whole episode. She was a bully. That's not the point. The point is we came back after her and her little friend thought they were going to like bully me. So we came back and this is why we don't talk about it.
I think this
There's-
is a non-silent
Yeah.
divorce right now.
She's trying to divorce me.
So we came back and it was almost like, look, if we're going to do this, there's no more, because like she said,
I was mature about it. I reached out.
because we did have a silent divorce now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what it was.
Yeah. I didn't.
But I didn't know that the divorce was happening. It just happened. And then I went back and I was like,
Someone never knows. I think.
yeah, like, because I've done the silent divorce to people. Now I feel really bad. I'm thinking of a few people in my head where I'm like, dang, I didn't mean to do that, but that's what happened, right?
And now you're gonna go back and be, are you divorcing me? You're gonna be texting all these people you haven't talked to.
I've never felt like I had to do that to anybody, and
Yeah,
now
you
that
did it to me. You picked up the phone and reached out to me because you did that to me.
No, I didn't silently divorce you.
Okay, you
She did it
immediately
out loud.
Yeah, she did. She just abruptly divorced me. It was like,
No, I
bitch,
didn't.
go, is what she said. And I was like, oh, what? And so then she did reach out because she felt bad. And she's like, you're so beautiful.
No,
and
I
you're
did.
everything,
I did reach out.
And I miss you and you need to come back in my life. I can't live without
but
you.
that,
No, I repented of a lot of things that were going on in my life and not making up any excuses. Like I said, it was
I
a
was the
whole
one
nother
she
level. Being mature, having confidence in who you are, loving yourself enough to love on somebody else and say, hey, like.
But let's just come back to I was the one you missed.
So I watched her podcast, and it was an episode on friendship, and she spoke about an experience she had that she said I was bullying
with a
her.
friend, did she air quote you?
But I'm not a bully. That's a very strong word.
She's
spoke
right, because
about it.
I've never let somebody bully me. However, they attempted.
She's very passionate about it, but it was an experience that we both went through, and watching that episode and hearing her talk about it made me feel horrible. Like, it was very convicting, and there was a reason for that. There was a reason for that, and it was convicting, and it did touch my heart, where I was like, that is not how I want anybody to perceive me to be.
Yeah.
So I reached out to her.
Because she missed me.
Well, and think about that. Like, you put in effort, like,
Because that is what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
And because I'm an adult, mature adult.
but like
Because you missed me.
But when it comes to these kind of friendships before, like, we don't put a lot of effort in. Well, I shouldn't say we don't put a lot of effort. Like, if it was a romantic relationship, right? A lot of people put a lot of effort into reconciling that. If you had a silent divorce in a relationship, but a friendship one, we don't do that.
Well, I had a moment where I didn't talk to a
But
friend just
you do.
recently for a few months. And then I ran back into her and I realized in that moment, like, I didn't put the effort in. I felt horrible. Like, as soon as I saw her, I wanted to hug her. But that pride, right? So you just, or the afraid you're going to get rejected. So I was just like trying to act like, hey, what's up? How are you? Like, that's cool, right? But then I was like, we need to go to lunch. Trina taught me, just her and I was like, oh, I miss you. I'm sorry. Can we be friends forever again? It was like, but that was definitely a silent divorce. I don't think that we realized that's what it was. Or it was a silent, what is Ross and Rachel say? We were on a break.
Well, I don't believe in breaks. But in regards to what you were saying, when I was being silently divorced, I didn't even I was doing those things. I was reaching out and reaching out and reaching out. Like if it was my man, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Like, I'm not doing this.
Do you
I'm a
look
grown
back
woman
now though and feel that you're glad that person didn't?
No,
respond?
I'm not because this one, I didn't deserve to have the silent divorce. I would have preferred, because I know how to communicate, if this person would have just said, I no longer want to be your friend anymore. you did A, B, C, and D. I felt disrespected or whatever the case is.
You
'Cause
would have been
honestly,
okay with that?
I would have been. I would have been, and I would have dealt with it however I needed to deal with it at the time, but I just didn't even know. So I was doing the reaching out. I felt like a stalker at one point, and then I just said to myself, you know what? Like, this is not the way. I'm a grown woman. This is not how I'm gonna act.
Yeah.
I don't even do this with my husband because I don't have to, because my husband doesn't treat me like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be grown about it. Just leave it alone. I don't hate anybody. I love all the people that have been in my life, but this is just like, it's time to grow up.
Have you ever done the silent divorce on someone? Not knowing it, obviously, but have
Yes,
you
I
ever?
have. Yeah,
And I didn't do that to you, so
I have.
correction.
I have.
He
And-
corrected it. He said, what did you say? It was a full-fledged messy divorce? Or
it was,
something?
it was an out loud divorce.
Yeah, it was an out loud divorce.
No, but I have as well.
You
And-
did it to someone?
Yeah, I have. Where and
Mr. Lariva.
well,
But-
I think it was deserved. I think it was similar.
Oh.
There.
I think it was something where, look, if I'm going to invest in you and provide you time, because I
Mhm.
very much value my time, I don't like someone not valuing my time as much as I do. And so when I feel people don't do that, then you have to,
Yeah.
because again, if you're going to fall back in that same trap and not feel good about the relationship and be like not necessarily why am I here, because I will enjoy the company of my friend,
Mhm.
right? And but I don't want to be the one that's going to be on your time all the time, because when I need you there and I want to share like the good things in my life, not just bad things, but the good things in my life, and you don't want to participate in them, then I really can't. I don't have time for you.
Mhm.
I have to devote it elsewhere.
Ah.
So I think that's important.
But as a man, and obviously you're a manly man because you take bombs apart. Wait, that's not the proper terms. You detonate bombs?
Well, I have diffused bombs.
Diffused bombs.
He's a
Okay.
diffuser.
He is a diffuser. He doesn't. What does detonate mean? It means.
Blow them up.
Blow them up.
Oh, my bad.
I've done
Okay.
that too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Is that part of the diffuser?
Well, that's one way you can diffuse it if you blow it up. That's the easy way.
Mm.
So if you
you'd hope,
diffuse
you'd
it-
hope that happens on purpose, not
If you diffuse
unintentionally.
it turns it off. If you detonate it, it boof.
Well, if I had a bomb and I blew it up, then I don't have a bomb anymore. So then the problem's solved. And in some cases, that is the solution. But most cases, it's not.
Okay, so you are all of that. And you did come from an era of like where men don't express themselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever got to a point with a friend where you said like you're not filling my cup? Or do men not say that?
I can't say that I have
Yeah,
like with.
men don't say that.
Yeah.
By the way.
And don't say you don't fill my cup.
Well, not those words.
I don't even know if we have an equivalent to any
That's what I'm
cups.
saying. That's
You
what I'm
know?
saying. Like, have you?
Fill my cup.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. I think it's more of just like I'm just not going to rely on you, and I'm going to know that, and the way you're going to know that is that like I'm just not going to like call you.
That's it.
I'm just not going to whatever we did that was normal anymore. It's not going to be normal anymore, and so that way you will know, and where I would assume most men will sit there and be like, well, like so and so doesn't call me anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're able to look at yourself and understand why, you could probably find something within yourself as to why that happened.
Yeah.
But or you can sit there and say, well, he's changed. And so I know I've probably done both, and I think a lot of people have probably done both as well too. Where you don't want to look at yourself and say, hey, there's a reason why this doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And typically I've learned to start with myself as to find the answer to that, but sometimes the answer is outside as well. So.
Yeah, I don't think that men did. And I didn't mean the actual cup. I just meant like, do you have those communications? Because I have friendships where I have communicated and some where you just don't, right? And it's just whatever season of my life that I'm in that moment, right? I know with my grandma, a lot of things I went through, I just didn't have the emotional energy
Mhm.
to express or to take, right? So some of my friends probably didn't get the best of me in those last 2.5 years. But I also know who they are, and they're going to get the best of me for the next 20 years, right?
Yeah.
But we're able to at some point say that to each other. And I just didn't know if men did, because men do talk more now. There is more quote unquote platform for men.
Absolutely.
Right. So I just don't know. Are you old school guys still closed off? So that was my point.
I guess over in my time and how I feel now is that the more that you're able to show your vulnerability and accept it, then you become a stronger version of yourself. Because really, a lot of times, in my opinion, men hold back and don't hide it because they don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be seen as weak, right? But in reality, you're just a shell. And so as soon as someone flips you over, your underbelly's exposed, and then you're afraid of that. But if you do it to yourself already, then what is there? What is there? Like, what are you going to say about me that I don't already recognize and have accepted and am working on?
Yeah.
And
that's
so
kind of how I feel.
If I'm working on it and I'm improving myself, then I could sit there and say, yes, you're right. I have done these things. This has been a part of my life, but it doesn't mean that my life's over. You know, I'm a better person as a result of it.
Yeah.
And so I think you have to accept that. And when you do, I think as a man or a woman or anybody, I think you just become a stronger person.
We've said that before, right? If you can look in the mirror and know what you need to change and love what you have changed, nobody can hurt you.
No, and I think a prime example of that is like my dad. I was telling you about my dad. My dad's someone who's changed over time, and I've been lucky enough to tell my dad this because we have some very philosophical conversations after Ram games for a couple beers, and so but I've told my
Rams.
dad, but I've told my dad how proud I am of who he is now versus the dad that I grew up with, and I'm so proud of him for that. And those that makes
I feel like we have to have an episode on that of healing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to bring his dad up.
Oh, my dad would never come on here ever in a million years.
Healing, no, but like healing, forgiveness. That's because I know your childhood and everything like that. Like that is just awesome. Like I love when you were talking about your dad earlier and everything and how great it is and awesome. That just shows what an amazing person that he is, that he made all the changes that he needed to, right?
Yeah.
But you accepted all of that and got past all that. And
yeah. And
you guys go to Rams games.
Do you think being away helped?
Yeah, I think I think one of the greatest things about like your parent-child relationship, it evolves. And when you're a child and you have your parents, like they're the end all be all, right? They have all the right answers and it's probably your dependency on them for all that. But I think once you mature as an adult and you become a standalone person, you don't have to depend on them for support or anything else. And you can just be two adults. I think that's like so awesome. And I love the fact that I've been able to be an adult with my parents, with my grandparents, with my uncles and aunts, and have adult conversations where they just don't see me as, hey, mijo, come over. And then I'm 7 years old again.
Oh, no, not in my family. I'm still the little 8-year-old little girl that I wish I could get that.
Yeah. And it's, to me, I think that makes the whole relationship richer because there's an evolution. And a lot of times it's never where you're going. It's just the journey along the way that just makes everything just so much fun. You know?
I love what he just said. I love that. I try to do that with my nephews, and I try to not see them as the cute little boys that I want to just, save. I try to, when they walk in, I respect them as adults and I have conversations with them. And I feel like I'm always defending them and I love them to death. But I got to remember that's a good way. Treat them like, what did you say, as two equals or two, not two
adults.
Two adults, yeah.
Because, how old are your nephews?
So the oldest one he's freaking going to kill me right now. If Laurent's 34, he's 31.
I was going to say he's the same age as my daughter.
Yeah, he's 31. So I got it right. Woohoo! And then the baby, he's not a baby, but he's 23.
Yeah. And so where I kind of I guess learned that was in the military because, you have people who enlist when they're 18, 19 years old and they go out and they do things like, think about the CHP officer that came up. You said she's roughly 25. Yeah. Look at the way she handled all that, right? At 25. And so she's younger than your nephew, right? Or niece or yeah. And so they're adults. They're those people in the world handling their stuff in an amazing way. There's firefighters, military, what have you. And so
but when she goes home, I wonder if they look at her the way that we look at her now, like how we looked at her after the event, right? She might go home and they're just like, oh, that's little so-and-so,
Yeah.
And maybe not.
I bet you that she doesn't allow them to.
Yeah. I don't think so because she even had me stumped. I was like, the badge and the uniform scared me a little bit to begin with, right? And then
Then the way she just ripped that transmission in, you're just like, I'm gonna mess with it.
I was like, my car won't go in gear. She's like, ma'am, get out of the car. And I was like, ma'am. I was like, she's like, okay, move your car down. I was like, Moosh was like, it works. Just get in your car and go. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and she
oh.
told the other little girl that was in the car that actually got hit like right like head on. I'm not head on, but the little girl, she was like, I don't want to get back in the car. Is it safe to be in there? It smells like something smells in there. And she goes, that's just from the airbag. You're gonna be fine. Just follow me. And then when we were following her on the bridge, she was yelling at the cars that were in front of her on her little
Microphone.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they are not listening to her.
But then I was like, is she yelling at us? She
She was
yelling at them?
real aggressive. And
Yes, but she did a great job because if you think about that, that is a bridge. It's only 2 lanes.
Yeah.
There's now 3 cars and a big rig. And you jumped out of the car at one point because you went back in the car and I yelled at you because you went to go get your phone. I'm like, you're gonna get hit. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm like, oh God. So she handled it really well.
Yeah, it was definitely not her first rodeo.
No.
No. And
She's
she
like,
did
this
a
happens
great-
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Probably she did better than that other gentleman that came probably would have done.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, David, thank you so much. I hope you come back on because you have enlightened us with so much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because the last 2 topics were your topics. The
I
one,
do take a little pride in that.
the one we did with the girls, what was it? Oh my! So not the last one was yours for sure, and the one before that was also his. The last 2 were his.
I forgot which one that was. but
So did I now.
Oh, with Daniela and
it
Yao.
really left a mark.
Yeah. No, it did because it was really good. Oh Lord!
Solomon.
Well, you're asking me. I can look it up just like
it was
you.
a platonic thing, where
Oh,
men
yeah,
and
yeah.
platonic friendships
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was yours. Last week was yours, and then this week, you're gonna start asking me for credit fees. He's gonna be like, I want some little, my name up there or something. But thank you so much for coming on.
thanks for
It
having
was
me.
Great. Thank
was
you,
fun.
Solomon.
Of course.
Wait, since you did Tony, you got to do Mr. Lariva.
I did already.
Oh, did you put it up there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. We did do the thing. Okay. Who was the actor again though? What was his
Zachary Quinto.
What was he in?
He was in a lot of things.
Anything?
But I'm sci-fi. He's in Star Trek, so that's where.
Oh, yeah, he was Spock. He
Yeah,
was
he was
Spock.
Oh, I'm not a Star Trek person. I'm a Star Wars.
Oh,
girl.
you just went 2 points down.
Star Trek was like not real. That was totally fake.
It's not real, but Star Wars
And
is
Star
real.
Wars is
Yeah.
real.
Star Wars.
Was-
Han Solo was the like he was real. That was like Chewie was real. Don't you dare. Like enough. We have to end it on that. Okay. So until next time, we are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Use the
Please-
Force.
Yeah. The Millennium Falcon is my car. Thank you for absolutely all your support, Solomon. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And until next time, thank you. Bye.
Happy birthday, Paul Walker.